problems caused by potholes, and it's getting worse. Good morning. The AA says it had a record number of pothole-related call-outs in October. I've come to this garage in Bury to find out the damage they can do and how you can avoid it.
The former England football player and manager Terry Venables has died at the age of 80 after a long illness. Venables, a charismatic and sometimes controversial figure, led England to the semi-finals of the European Championship in 1996, where the host nation lost on penalties to Germany. More than 100,000 people took part in a march against anti-Semitism through central London on Sunday. The Metropolitan Police says it has arrested 2 people, one for making anti-Semitic comments, and the other was the founder of the English Defence League, Tommy Robinson, who showed up even though the organisers asked him not to attend. The leader of Reform UK, which used to be the Brexit Party, has denied offering money to persuade the deputy chairman of the Conservatives, Lee Anderson, to defect. The Sunday Times reported there was a recording of Mr. Anderson saying he'd been offered a lot of money to defect to a party beginning with R.
There's a warning school children in the UK are using AI picture generators to create indecent images of others. Internet safety groups say that they've started to receive reports that pupils are doing this or are trying to do so. They want schools to make sure that their filtering and monitoring system can block illegal material. And it's believed that climate change could be the main reason for soaring food prices in the UK. Researchers estimate families are paying over £600 more than they were 2 years ago. Well, experts from the universities of Sheffield, Bournemouth, Exeter say that extreme weather has kept food inflation high as energy prices come down. Sky News has been given exclusive access to those working on the front line of tackling revenge porn. The Revenge Porn Helpline, which is based in Devon, helps thousands of people in the UK who've fallen victim to so-called revenge porn, sextortation scams and blackmail. Well, figures show that calls to the helpline have risen by more than 30% this year.
Buskers and street entertainers in some of London's most visited tourist areas like Covent Garden have exactly 1 week before they find out if they'll face stricter controls. Some performers fear it could spell the end for them in certain areas after hundreds of years on the streets. The proposal means stricter controls when it comes to noise and size.
It's restrictive to the point where we wouldn't be able to make a living. The pitch sizes are reduced to a maximum of a 5-metre diameter circle, which is obviously, that's including the audience, so not big enough for circus-style shows such as we perform at Covent Garden. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
At this morning's newspapers, shall we? We're starting with The Guardian today. And they lead with hopes that a truce between Hamas and Israel might be extended. We've already spoken to our correspondent Hugo Bachega about this just a few minutes ago. Now, despite this, the paper reports that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to continue his country's military campaign, in his words, until the end.
The Eye this morning leads with this striking image of tens of thousands of people marching through central London at the weekend as part of that demonstration yesterday against anti-Semitism.
The Daily Telegraph's front page claims it has seen details of a deal struck between Rishi Sunak and the former Home Secretary Suella Braverman on the issue of migration. The paper, Downing Street has rejected that. The paper says Downing Street has rejected that any discussions were a deal.
And look at this. This is the front page of the Mirror today. The Greatest Showman, the Great Showman, referring, of course, to the former England manager Terry Venables, who passed away yesterday at the age of 80. Lots of tributes to him, aren't there, in all the papers today.
And we will be talking about him in detail here on the programme this morning. We've got Neil Ruddock on in just about 15 minutes' time.
And what's making the front pages this morning, kicking off with The Guardian, reporting on hope that the ceasefire in Gaza will hold as the third exchange of prisoners and hostages take place. According to the Financial Times, the Qataris have said that Hamas must find dozens of hostages if the truce is to be extended. And the Mail leads with a march against anti-Semitism, which took place in London yesterday. Elsewhere, the Eye says millions are facing higher taxes up until the election. While the Daily Telegraph reports that the Prime Minister agreed to raise the minimum salary threshold for migrants to £40,000 as part of a deal that he struck with Suella Braverman. An image of the march is also on the Times, their front page, which reports on the release of a 4-year-old Israeli hostage who is now an orphan after both her parents were killed by Hamas. Farewell, Tell. That's the Metro's headlines there, with the passing of former England manager Terry Venables. And that's also the front page of the Star there, after the football legend died at the age of 80. And his death is also the main story there for The Sun, which says that he was one hell of a fella. And The Guardian, the Mirror there, dedicates its front page to Venables with the headline, The Great Showman, describing him as a charismatic football star and passionate England boss. And if you want to see any of those front pages again or read the stories, just scan the QR code which is on your screen.